Hi, welcome to today's training where we're going to be talking a little bit about model coordination and how this process works over here at Power. First step is going to be the workflow and how we process the information, how we collaborate together. And to help me, I made this little diagram. There's two methods primarily that we'll be using at Power Design, and that is going to be this method where we have our ACC platform, where we have our mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection, if that's in there as well. And we bring in the architectural and structural model periodically. As the architect and structural models change, we will bring those updates in periodically as well, but those aren't necessarily live linked. However, all of the MEP and fire protection, those are all going to be live linked. We're going to be collaborating real time, and as the model gets published, this model coordination tool right here is able to watch all of those folders. So anytime there's an update, the model coordination tool is therefore updated automatically. There's no more need to manually export an NWC file. We can always just publish. So second part of this, if the collaboration method is going to be a little bit different, and we are live linking these things with architectural and structural, there's this process that we could utilize called bridge. And essentially what this does is every time the architect or structural engineer releases, or anybody externally for that matter, releases a new version of their model and it gets published and gets shared with us, we can therefore bridge that information in and it will come in automatically. There's no more need to manually transfer. And then secondary to that, we will always be collaborating in our own environment, live linking, making sure things are visible to us at all times with the model coordination tool paired up with that. Where we can get into Navisworks clash detection and that kind of thing. All right, so the next step that we need to talk about is what software do we need for this type of process? Well, obviously we need Revit. We definitely need Navisworks 2025 or 2024 would work. But there are two things that we also need in addition to that, and that's issues add-in. So for each Revit version, 22, starting at 22 up till 25 right now at the time of this recording, and then if for Navisworks it's 25 or 24. You don't need both versions for Navisworks. Navisworks can work both ways. I would just download 2025, and then also you need this Autodesk Navisworks coordination issues add-in, and then whatever version is most recent. Just download that, make sure that that is able to run inside of your Navisworks file, and then for every Revit version you will need a different issues add-in. So that's underneath extensions for Revit and plugins for Navisworks. I don't know why they made it different, but they did. So for 2024, you'd have to go to extensions as well, find that issues add-on, download it. 2023, same thing. So that'll help us get to issues. The last thing that you'll need is going to be ACC access. Currently this video is going to be held in BIM 360, but ACC works very similarly. The project will have an account for BIM 360, and that's where we store all of our, or ACC, that's where we store all of our project files. We have our Revit files for VDC here, our architectural files. This is where we'll find our issues up here in the top. And we can find our tools over here. So this is where our model coordination tool lives. And we'll get into that later on. And this is where our documents will live. So this is actually the place that we're collaborating, where files are saved, and so on and so forth. If we are working with external people during the coordination process, during the VDC coordination process, if they're architectural, we're always going to have that in the IFC backgrounds folder. This is where all of these disciplines will reference the architectural folders. If they are within like mechanical, electrical, plumbing, or fire protection, for instance on this project we are not doing plumbing or fire protection, we have those externally. Those external people will have their environment set up here. So the Revit file will live in this folder, at the top, the root folder. Anything that they produce, such as deliverables, CAD files, anything else that they need, they get full control over this folder here. So LT Plumbing gets full control over this one, and then Conquering gets full control over this one. So you have their CAD deliverables and PDF deliverables. Whatever they need for the project, they can store in there. And also the deliverables that I require them to store in there as well. Okay, for internally, we'll have support files for all of this type of stuff that goes over in a different video about file management. We won't get into that depth here. All right, that's it for this video. Next step is going to be how we get this process set up in Revit and how we get the process rolling in model coordination.